Welcome. I'm so glad you're here because you are just in time to help me sample these most divine pizza scrolls. I'm Jamie and this is Eat Homemade, where I help you simplify your home cooking and baking. Eating homemade is easy again. It does not have to be complicated. So let's have a look at these and see how absolutely perfect they are because they were so easy to make. And then I'm going to rewind a little bit and I'm going to show you exactly how I threw these together. Look how beautiful these look. These were so easy to throw together and any guests coming to your house are going to absolutely love them. Look how they just pull apart. And the inside, let me show you, is just full of that beautiful bacon, all of that onion, that barbecue sauce. We had tomato in there as well. And of course, we've got our beautiful cheese. That is going to make a divine morning tea, afternoon tea, or even a lunch. Let's try it. That is so delicious. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of oil in my pan and I'm going to cook up my savoury filling. So I'm going to do onion and bacon for this one, but as with all my recipes, you just put in what you've got on hand, all your favourite kinds of things, and you can make your own signature dishes just using the basic recipe that I give you. So to my pan, I'm just going to add my diced onion. I've got one large onion going in there. And I'm also going to add about 70 grams of this beautiful smoky bacon. And I'm going to just cook that down until it's nicely browned. While our bacon and our onions are cooking, I've got my scroll mixture that I'm going to get ready here. So I've got some nice soft butter. You want your butter to be really soft. Like, look how soft this is. That's how soft you want it to be when you add your flour. So add in my flour that I've weighed out. I'm learning to do everything for you in grams and not in cups. So thank you for your feedback about that. And I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of salt. Also, we can't forget our baking powder, which I'm so good at forgetting. Sometimes I make things without it and completely regret it, of course. So we're going to add 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Now we'll want to, with our clean hands, we'll want to get in here and we'll want to just blend our butter in with our flour mixture so that it becomes like a breadcrumb mixture. And if you watched my sweet scroll recipe the other day where I did apple and cinnamon with that beautiful vanilla drizzle, you would have heard me say that I don't always do this method. Sometimes I just melt the butter down and stir it in and kind of hope for the best. But this is the traditional method of making these scrolls. So you're blending it in so that it does become a nice breadcrumb mixture. So you can't see any lumps of butter sitting in there. And that's just how we want it to be. Beautiful mixture of flour and butter all combined. Now we can add our milk. So add your milk in and give it a stir, and then we'll look at the consistency of it. If it's too wet, too sticky for our rolling pin, then we'll add a little bit more flour. And if it's too dry and crumbly, then we'll add a little bit more milk. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of flour on my hand and form this into a ball so that I can roll it out. A little bit of flour on my bench. And we can see that that is just how we want it to be. That was absolutely perfect with that amount of milk and flour. And let's have a quick look at Let's have a quick look at what we had on the stove cooking. So this is our filling, this is our bacon and our onion, and it's looking so divine, isn't it? So this is just starting to sort of caramelize with all that beautiful smoky bacon, and that's just how we want it to be. Some people will ask me, do I have to cook the bacon and the onion? Yes, because it really does bring out those flavors. So we'll put that aside and we'll roll out our dough. So just like when we did our sweet scrolls, we're going to roll this out so that it's almost a pizza shape so that we can roll it up nicely with our filling. And if it starts to stick underneath, just grab a little bit of flour and pop that back like that. Okay, so that looks about the shape that we want to have. Don't be too fussy, it doesn't overly matter. As long as you're going to be able to roll it up once you've got your filling on, it's all good. Now we're going to make our sauce that we're going to pop on here. So I'm just going to use the same bowl that I had my flour in because I don't like to have too many dishes. And to this I'm going to add some tomato puree. So this is a really nice tomato puree because it's got the chunks of tomato in it still, but just use your favorite tomato puree. I tend not to use a paste because I find it really rich and concentrated. And to this, I'm just going to add some nice barbecue sauce, which has not been opened before. That will make it more difficult. And again, your favorite barbecue sauce. This is just a nice smoky barbecue sauce. And I'm going to add probably about 1/4 cup of the barbecue sauce. The barbecue sauce will thicken this up nicely as well, so give that a mix. Yes, you can use just barbecue sauce without the tomato in there, but I find barbecue sauce can be quite rich. And of course, something else you can do that I do sometimes is you can use a nice pesto in here as well, or instead of. But we've just got the barbecue sauce and we've got our tomato puree with our beautiful bits of tomato in it as well. So spread that out, and of course if you think, oh, that's not really enough sauce, I like it much saucier than that, just go ahead and add some more as you're going. Just make it how you like it as you're cooking it, as you're making it. And of course our filling is just our bacon and our onion that we prepped earlier. You could add a little bit of garlic to this if you like. So I'm going to add about 1 cup of cheese to the filling and leave a little bit to the side so that we can put it on top. There we go. Now we can roll it up. So when you start rolling, if you see that it's a little sticky underneath and it's sticking to your hands, just grab a little bit of flour and just, pop it underneath as you're going, and it will help. So unlike the sweet scrolls, I'm rolling it away from me, which is so much easier than rolling it on the side. So you can see how saucy these are, beautiful and saucy. They're going to be so delicious. And doesn't really matter, just like when we did the other ones, it doesn't matter where you're putting them. A little bit of room is good, and they will fill out and they will, fill this tray up, fill this dish. Okay, now that these are all in, I'm going to preheat my oven and I'm going to have a bit of a wipe up of my bench. You can see that there's a little bit of a space around them, but I'm not being too fussy about them. When I bring them out, you'll see that everybody just found their room, and they're just beautiful and golden and delicious. So I'm going to pop these in for about 15 minutes and then we'll bring them out and we can put a little bit of cheese on them and pop them back in. Look how delicious these are. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more cheese before they are completely done, and then we'll pop them in for another few minutes and they will be absolutely perfect. Look how beautiful they look now they've come out of the oven. And I know before I put them in, you might have been thinking, Jamie, this one over here is a little bit squished and he's not perfect. But seriously, it didn't matter. I didn't spend any extra time perfecting these and they still look so divine.